So this is my final video in introducing the full spectrum of what my part approach is all about. It is supported by a set of affirmations or verbal sayings that I use to be conversation starters in my classroom. My students, I talk to them with these conversation starters or real talk sayings, and they talk to each other to encourage each other in their expectations. So for me, part systems are my expectations of what our relationships are all about to be productive learners in the classroom. But real talk kind of holds us accountable to the work in an encouraging community building way. In my marriage, I learned the importance of communication and growing up in my family because we weren't given a lot of opportunity to have a voice in many situations. I didn't learn this lesson until I was older, navigating my own way into the world, trying to chase after new opportunities that even my parents didn't grow up with. It was really hard. And a lot of times I did not get a lot of positive verbal talk. I had to learn how to be resilient and have grit and have a growth mindset even before growth mindset existed. By talking to myself and telling myself that I was able when it just didn't seem possible. So, this out of my journey of my own mental health and my own establishment of positive talk, and realizing in this world that I wasn't the only one with those struggles. When I ministered to those teenagers, I came back into the classroom and actually made up these sayings to support my partnership approach. So let's go in and dive in on learning our real talk. So if I share this slideshow, again, it is complementary to my part system. It actually holds part intact accountability-wise throughout the year. It just gives us the language we need to be good partners. Just like a car needs gas to run, every partner needs real talk. Real talk cares for a person's heart and mind. Real talk are verbal sayings that build you up and make you feel good about yourself and others. They act as the gas you need to live out your purpose in our classroom, in our world. So then I show them this slide. Let's begin learning our real talk sayings. And so this lesson will actually take 6 days, and it's a lot of call and repeat. But my favorite videos that I discovered when I was teaching virtual kindergarten are the small talks that there's a man that interviews kids and they have just honest conversations about different topics. And so I, this year, for the very first time, introduced Real Talk with my small talk chat on what advice is and how powerful words are. Here are my first set of sayings for Real Talk. And these are the ones I use the most when I first start. Every choice counts. Every day is a new day. Being my best starts with the right attitude. I believe in me. I don't quit. So those are the 2 real talks that those are the 5 real talks I introduce when I first start my classroom. Then the next day we do our part pledge again. We reiterate the importance of real talk. Then we go over and we learn it. We review the ones that we already learned. We have a new small talk video that talks about 2 more real talk choices or sayings that we're going to use to build our partnerships. And this one is about choices. So the real talk sayings that I introduce on the second day is, as a student, my job is to learn. My teacher's job is to teach. We let each other do our jobs. And the other choice we are going to use in our partnership in the classroom is we are a team. We wait for each other. Day 3, you go through the partnership pledge again. Again, this is all happening on the 3rd week of school. So they've been in their partnerships for 2 weeks now. Now they're learning how to communicate while being in a partnership. Going again, reviewing real talk, what it means, letting them know that we're going to learn the sayings, reviewing the ones that we've already done, introducing again with a small talk chat, this time about how important it is to live our life. Introducing this one, which is growing up is hard, but we can practice new things and be smarter. Day 4, we do the same thing, part pledge, talk real talk, review our old real talk sayings. Introduce the new ones, which we are talking about mistakes with our small talk chat. And then we introduce this real talk saying, which we all make mistakes. We learn to forgive and care for each other. So then day 5, we do our part pledge again, talk real talk again, review and respond and recall sort of way, our real talk that we've learned the previous days. And then if you notice, I circled mistakes, but for our new small talk chat, we're learning about love. And so the new portion of that real talk that we're going to repeat again is about forgiveness and caring for each other. So that's the part that is circled for that one. And that's the part that we're focusing on. And I do this real talk saying for 2 days because forgiveness and caring is something even adults struggle with in terms of loving other people. To really love someone is to forgive them, and to realize that caring and loving them is the ultimate goal. So I have to explain that to the kids of why we kind of have to talk about how mistakes, which is also a very hard topic for even adults, is a normal part of life, but how we also have to normalize forgiveness if we really love each other. So on day 6, part pledge, talking about real talk, reviewing in that call and respond sort of way, the real talk that we have learned. Last one we're going to talk about is good manners. And this is kind of a stretch in introducing my last real talk that I use the most all the time, because by then routines are set. And so then it's a matter of their manners. What are their good habits and what are their bad habits? So I use this real talk saying, the small talk chat video that talks on manners to relate it to, do good manners equate to good habits? Because my last real talk saying that I teach my kids is that we value good habits, not bad habits. And an example like this, I say, oh my goodness, is it a good habit to pick your nose all days of your life? Or is that a bad habit? Why is that a bad habit? Because it's so unhealthy and unsanitary, and you might spread germs. So as your teacher, I do not want you to be a nose picker for the rest of your life. I want your life to be better than that. So we value good habits, not bad. That's just a silly example of how I use it in the classroom. But if you're honest with yourself, there are lots of examples where you want kids to grow in their good habits or good manners instead of bad, like putting their name on their paper, like using neat penmanship, like correcting their paper when they're wrong. Stuff like that comes up in the classroom all the time, and kids are not used to being corrected. And so this is a real talk that's really gentle, that lets them know that we're correcting you because we value your good habits, not your bad, because we want to grow you to be the best person you can be. So part system is the expectations, kind of like the look of what's behind what should be done in the classroom, what it looks like, what are the expectations of getting those things done. But over time, they're not used to being accountable to those expectations. They're going to need the language and accountability, the gentle accountability that's going to keep them in check. And so real talk is how I talk to my students, but it's also how my students grow to talk to themselves and grow to talk to each other in an encouraging way that only progresses them towards growth and learning, and doesn't just hold them back or hold them down. In fact, my parents in my book equated that it actually helped them as well relate to their kids, and at their kids, they just feel like their kids would be better partners and be able to handle things in real life, even as adults, through these sayings as well. So I hope you have a good night between part and real talk. That's the gist of what my system's all about. I took 4 days to teach part. I took 6 days to teach real talk. In essence, 10 days, you have a well-oiled machine to build partnerships throughout the whole year and grow kids in accountability. Have a great day.